Hi, Patrice here. I'm waiting for my daughter at the library. We're going out doing a few runs together, and so I wanted to talk about something. So something just happened um, on Facebook today that I found interesting, and so I was like, let me talk about that a little bit. So I posted a meme where I don't know why I can't think of the guy, but it's not important who the guy is, but it says something about how uh, toxic mothers are just as bad as absent fathers, but we're not ready for that discussion yet. And I shared it, and I wrote that it's much worse. Actually, the toxic mother is much worse. Actually, and I don't remember what else I said, but you had your people, liking it or whatever, and then the people that was like, yeah. Interestingly enough, I happen to know that a lot of the ones who like agreed with the statement, and like whether somebody agree or disagree is not like, who cares? I wrote it, it's my wall, and whatever. But or I shared it rather. But my the point is that, like, it was interesting to me how the ones who agreed with it either have that experience of having that toxic mother, or they know people who do. And it's like it's a situation that either you get it or you don't. And then some people, and it seems to not be a whole lot of people that can be in between. Although I do have some really close friends who do not have toxic mothers, but they get it. They really get it. So, but anyway, I had a few people that are dear to me who were like, no, it's not worse, and it's the same. Or another person was saying that it's that they don't like the how it's like that mentality of blaming the woman and holding the woman more accountable than the men. And I was just like, wow, like a lot of nerves are being touched, by this, in a negative way, and I was just thinking about it, and I was actually talking to my daughter about it. And I was saying how, you see a post, it touches a nerve, and immediately you jump to, like, not purposefully invalidate, but it is invalidating. Because if I'm saying, no, it's much worse, and you're like, no, it's not. It's like, I'm talking about my experience, But then I have the wherewithal to understand that, wow, okay, I see. Those that are saying that, they have the absentee father thing, and they're deeply hurt, by that, whether it was their own absentee father or like a mate, or, whatever the case may be. And so they're speaking out of their experience just like I'm doing. And so I said something about how, like, I'm not wishing to invalidate anybody else's experience, because I don't like that happening to me. But I didn't even say but. I said, and I respect that. I'm talking from my own experience, and I've had both. And so I was just telling my daughter, I was like, it's like, like this whole invalidation can just breed more invalidation in this. Like, where are we then, if we're all just gonna, jump at each other. And it wasn't, I'm not saying that this post was like that, but in life it can be that way. And so because it was very civil, the whole thing. I just think, like, it's like I can sense the hurt coming from different people, because we're all going through, things, and we've all gone through things, and we'll go through things, and you just never know what someone else is dealing with. And so it's like, it made me have compassion seeing the ones that were saying like, no, it's not worse. I had an absentee father and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh, like, I feel for them. And, but as I'm saying all this, I'm thinking about the lack of compassion that I feel for myself, because I grew up with, I'm my mother's only child, I keep saying. My father, I was the youngest of 6. My father was largely absent, not fully, but largely. And like, I spent no holidays with him. No, like, he never came to any graduations, nothing. Like, so he was not a part of he just wasn't a part of my life like that. And when there were times where he said he was going to do this, that, or the other, and he didn't. I remember going to a movie one time, and I do mean one, when it was all of my siblings, and he took all of us to see The Last Dragon, and that was nice, and I'll always remember that. But I remember a lot of really, bad things with him. And when he was like in the picture a little bit, and then, so I understand the absentee father. But interestingly enough, I was telling my daughter, I was like, I've never, with all the issues that I've had with my father, I've never sought any kind of anything as far as like therapy or anything regarding my father. It's always been my mother, always. And I was thinking, like, those that were saying like, no, it's not worse. Like, do they have the covert narcissist for a mom too? Do they have the absentee father? And like, because to say that it's not worse, then that says to me that you have it all. Because, and you're, but even then, you can't say that my experience isn't what it is, and that, and invalidate what I said, because I know what, my experience is and was like, and, but I was thinking about how, like, my father, I've been thinking about him a whole lot lately, and how my father used to try to tell me things sometimes about how, my mother, he would say my mother tried to keep me from him, and, I would go off on him about that, because I'm like, well, when I am over your house, you're not there, so what are you saying, but and you had to pay, like, you were forced to pay child support for me, and all this stuff I would say to him. But it was having been groomed by my mother, so like she taught me to, like, I couldn't stand my father. I knew on some level that I loved him just because he was my father, but I didn't really like him, and I didn't think much of him, like, at all. And I did not think he was a good person. I was shocked at his funeral to see, like, so many, like, the church was packed. I was shocked. And then I was thinking, like, he couldn't have been the outright demon that my mother made him out to be, with all these people. Like, all these people are saying this, and one person is saying something completely different. Even his ex-wives never, like, talked about him the way my mother did, and so it was all just very striking at that moment, around the time my father, just before he died, and then after he died. And but yeah, I was just thinking about that whole thing of how, we all hurt, and then we speak out of that hurt, but it's not, I don't know, it's not prudent to, like, because I could have carried it on and, acted stupid. And I pray that no one took my comments as me acting stupid, because that's not my intent at all. You know how when you're writing things, it can get misconstrued because you can't hear the tone. You don't know, you just don't know exactly where a person is coming from. But I felt so much compassion in that moment from the people that were like, no, it's not worse. it's just as bad, or the absentee father maybe is worse. I don't know, but I was just like, oh, like, I hear the hurt there. I hear that. I hear it, and I know it. I lived it, like, but no. the God, like, the amount of damage, and like, with it like disgusts me if I really like focus on it. The therapy, and like, I don't say everything in these videos because I just want to be wise about the whole thing, but between the two, for me, in my experience, the toxic mother part was way worse than my father not being there for birthdays and Christmases and whatever other, holidays and graduation. Far worse. Far, far worse. Because it's like, your mind is so toyed with in such horrendous and ugly ways, and it's intentional. Yeah. So I don't know, and I think about, I was telling my daughter how I was like, like the little girl Patrice, like, she didn't have a father, and then she had, this mother who, was like doing all that she was doing, and like, yeah. So no, you can't tell me that which is worse, and no. But man, it's all sad. It's all sad, and it's all awful, and I don't understand it, and I think that's a good thing, that I don't understand how anyone can neglect or mistreat their children, because it just doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. All right, so I will end this here and do another video in a little bit, because I got something else I wanted to talk about. But I don't like to have these videos be super long, and then I am at my destination. So I'm gonna park and end this video, and like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I don't know, tell me what you think, because I didn't take offense to what they were saying, but I was like, no, like, I hear you're hurt, but that doesn't mean that you can just invalidate what I'm saying either, because I'm speaking from my experience, just like you're doing, so, and like I said, I'm on both sides, so it's rough, and I pray for us all. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.